If you have money left over at the end of the month, even a little, you have already done the hardest part. Seriously. Not buying the ETF, not opening the broker account, not reading some 47-page investing strategy from a guy whose entire personality is compound interest. The hard part is creating the gap between what comes in and what goes out. Because that gap is where wealth begins, and most people never get one. Not because they're stupid, not because they're lazy, because modern life is basically a machine designed to eat that gap alive. Rent wants a bite, food wants a bite, your phone plan wants a bite, your car wants a bite, your friends want to go out. And your brain wants a little treat because apparently surviving Tuesday now requires a €9 coffee and a pastry the size of a small mattress. Then, after all of that, some finance person online shows up and says, "Just spend less than you earn." Amazing. Thank you. Very helpful. That's like telling someone who wants to lose weight, "Just eat less than you burn." Technically true, but also useless if that's where the advice ends. Because everyone knows the sentence, "spend less than you earn." The real question is, then what? Once you finally have $100, $300, maybe $800 left over, the internet suddenly gets very loud. Save it, invest it, buy property, start a side hustle, hold cash, don't hold cash. Crypto is the future. Crypto is a casino. Real estate is safe. Real estate is a second job with plumbing. And somewhere in the middle of that noise, a normal person thinks, "I was proud of saving money 5 minutes ago. Now I feel like an idiot again." That is the trap, not money itself. The trap is believing that once you've done the hardest part, the next step has to be complicated. It doesn't. If you can consistently save money, your job is not to become a financial genius. Your job is much simpler. Don't waste the gap. That's it. Because that leftover money is not just cash. It is breathing room. It is choice. It is the first sign that your life is not completely controlled by your bills. A few $100s in a bank account may feel like a rounding error with anxiety, but it is not nothing. Before investing, before passive income, before freedom, before any of the fun words, there is the gap. And building that gap is hard because you have to fight your own lifestyle. Not once. Every month, you get paid, the money lands, and immediately the world starts making suggestions. Maybe you deserve a nicer car. Maybe you should upgrade your apartment. Maybe you need the new phone because your current one is tragically only capable of doing every single thing a phone needs to do. This is where people lose. Not because they never earned enough, but because every time their income grew, their life quietly expanded to consume it. After a few years, the salary is bigger, but the gap is still missing. This is why saving money is the hard part. It is not one decision, it is hundreds of tiny decisions where nobody claps. Nobody sees you not upgrade your car. Nobody congratulates you for keeping your rent stable. Nobody sends a trophy because you didn't buy something you could technically afford. Saving money is invisible. Spending money is visible. And humans are terrible with invisible wins. So if you have a gap, protect it. Now, what do you actually do with it? Simple. Your saved money has 3 jobs, not 50, 3. Some protects you, some grows, some gives you options. First, protection. This is your emergency fund. It will not make you rich, it will not go viral, but it matters. Because life is rude, cars break, jobs disappear. Teeth suddenly decide they need professional attention. And when those things happen, you need money that is boring, safe, and easy to reach. Not money trapped in the stock market during a bad week. Not money in your cousin's revolutionary startup that somehow sells both protein powder and NFTs. Cash. Simple cash. An emergency fund is not an investment. It's a shock absorber. It stops 1 bad month from becoming 6 bad months. Second, growth. This is where investing comes in. And this is also where the internet starts acting like you need a finance degree, 3 screens, and emotional damage. You don't. For most people, Investing can be simple, not always easy emotionally, but simple. You take money you do not need right now and put it into assets that can grow over time. ETFs, index funds, stocks, bonds. Whatever fits your goals, your country, your risk level, and your time frame. The basic idea is not complicated. You are trying to own things that become more valuable over years, not days, years. The problem is that investing gets presented like a casino with better vocabulary, charts, predictions, hot sectors, market timing. Some guy saying, "This one stock could change everything," which is usually code for, "Please watch until the ad break." But normal investing is not supposed to feel like a daily emergency. If your plan requires you to check the market every 11 minutes, it is probably not a plan, it's a hostage situation. The simplest path is boring on purpose. Emergency fund first, high-interest debt handled, then long-term investing through diversified funds or simple assets you understand. That's not exciting. Good. Exciting is often expensive. Boring is underrated. Boring pays rent quietly. Boring doesn't need a Discord server. Boring doesn't panic because someone on the internet made a chart with a red arrow. Risk is still real. Stocks go down. Markets have ugly years. But risk is not a reason to freeze forever. The question is not, how do I avoid all risk? You can't. Holding cash has risk too. Inflation slowly eats it, like a very polite rat. The real question is, what kind of risk can I handle without making stupid decisions? If seeing your portfolio drop 10% makes you want to sell everything and move into canned beans, maybe don't build an aggressive portfolio just because someone on YouTube said you're young. Your money plan should fit your actual life, not your fantasy self. Build for the version of you who gets tired, forgets passwords, and sometimes orders food because the fridge contains one lemon and regret. Third, options. Not every dollar needs to be immediately optimized. Some money is there to give you flexibility. That is part of wealth. Wealth is not only a number in an app, it's the ability to say no. The order matters. Protect yourself, avoid dumb debt, invest simply, adjust as life changes. That's it. But people skip steps. They have no emergency fund, but they are asking whether they should buy individual tech stocks. They have $200 saved and somehow ended up watching a video about advanced options strategies. That's not ambition, that's financial parkour. Complicated advice feels more valuable. If someone says, spend less than you earn, build an emergency fund, invest consistently, avoid lifestyle creep, it sounds too simple. So we assume there must be a secret, besides choosing a richer dad. But most of the time, the basics work. People just don't do them long enough. Everyone wants the clever move. But wealth usually comes from boring moves repeated until they stop looking boring. That's not sexy, but neither is being broke with a leased car. And here is a small trick. When you finally have the money for something you've wanted for a long time, pause. Don't buy it immediately. Imagine buying it, opening it, driving it, wearing it, using it. Then ask yourself, do I still want this? Or did I mostly want the feeling of being able to buy it? Because sometimes the rush was in the chase, the wanting, the proving. But once you can actually afford it, the object loses power. Knowing you can buy it removes the need to buy it. Sometimes you still want it, fine, buy it on purpose. But often the real prize was not the thing, it was the feeling that the thing was finally optional. That is a very different kind of wealth. So what should your surplus do this month? If you have no emergency fund, build that. If you have high interest debt, attack that. If your time frame is long, start investing simply. If you don't understand something, don't put serious money into it yet. That's not fear, that's wisdom wearing normal clothes. Making a clean, boring decision and following it for 6 months. That's progress. The goal is not to cut everything. The goal is to stop leaking money on things that do not matter to you. If you are paying for subscriptions you forgot existed, upgrading things because you're bored, or buying stuff mainly because other people will see it, that's not living. That's just your bank account being bullied by your ego. Spend on purpose, save on purpose, invest on purpose. That is the whole game. And then one day, you notice. An emergency doesn't scare you the same way. Your account has a buffer. You can make a decision without begging your next paycheck for permission. That's the point. Not to become obsessed with money, to become less controlled by it. Everything after that? Keep it simple.